Have you ever had the annoying experience of, say, a flaming shot from a catapult hit the ground near your troops only for all of them to go up in flames? But then you try to do the same thing to your enemy, but you get either nothing or only a small burn patch? Ever wondered how to tell what terrain is highly flammable? Well, so far as I know at least, there's only one way to tell: the map editor, also known as World Builder. If you just look at terrain, there is no way to tell, unfortunately, so flammability to most players will seem random and relatively uneventful, a little cherry on top in terms of how it brings the world to life. But with this video, now you will know such secrets for each map. If you need a tutorial on how to pull up maps in World Builder and how to use this great tool, I have a few videos you can check out on my channel. Well, to find out how to figure out terrain flammability, just pull up a map and go to this button called Large Tile. It pops up this window at the bottom of which is the option Flammability. When you click it, it will show a few options and some colored squares on a grid. Green tiles are for grass, which burn in a small confined space for a while. Red is highly flammable, and fires spread aggressively there for a good long while. Fire-resistant areas have no color at all and don't actually ignite at all. And undefined is purple, which operates similarly to highly flammable, but not for as long. You can see here that it's not a physical terrain that's put down on the map at all, like a kind of grass or shrub or something. It's basically just painting on flammability, and this can be applied to even bare rocks or sand if you want to get nuts. I'll take a moment to demonstrate these areas. Here is the purple area, the undefined flammable space. You can see it spreads relatively fast, but does not burn for very long. So you can see it's the exact shape of the patch I put down. It doesn't spread beyond that point. Now let's go over to the highly flammable red space.
Let them fly! Archers, move out! Onward! Keep up the pace!
Immediately, you can see that the width of the flaming area is much wider, even as it spreads out. The fuel for the fires can have various burn time limits. Certain kinds of fire can burn hotter than others, like here, and use up the fuel in those areas very fast. But if you were to use the archer's bombard ability, you might light up a patch of grass that burns for a short moment, then goes out, but with fuel still left for that tile to burn again later for a while. It's a pretty neat mechanic. And of course there's the normal grass patches. With one battalion of archers, you can see each spot does not burn for very long, but this is not the case if you add another battalion, which we'll see in a later video. And here you can see how the fire-resistant terrain will not light up at all, no matter how much you bombard it. Of course, in AOTR, the Rohan faction has a unique kind of siege weapon, the Onager, which is a special ability to launch flaming bales of hay to really light up the terrain. Highly effective. This special flaming shot works just fine on even fire-resistant terrain. I'll launch a bale right in the empty spot in the middle here. So while it doesn't last a super long time, it burns long enough and hot enough to light up some troops or some buildings, and naturally it's going to do what you would expect it to do on grass, undefined and highly flammable terrain. However, there is something interesting about its flaming shot and the highly flammable terrain combo worth noting here. That big black patch where we lit up the highly flammable terrain ideally should have no fuel left in it, but watch as the flaming shot can still make use of it, and several times over. Notice how much wider it grows than the burning patch a moment ago on the fire-resistant terrain. So I'll wait for the cooldown on the flaming shot ability and fire again. You can keep reusing the fuel from the highly flammable terrain. And this is not just the hay burning. It has a wider radius than if you burn a grass patch, so somehow it can still use the fuel of that area in conjunction with the hay. This is a pretty neat mechanic, as when you discover highly flammable terrain, it comes so suddenly that you probably think it can't be used anymore. I know I thought as much, but the black patch as the visual indicator lets you take extra steps to use that area for future traps for a while. Quite nice. Keep surprising your enemy for a little bit with that onager. Similarly, you can do the same with burned up patches of other terrain too. The archers already burned this patch of grass, but they can keep using it. Might not look like much, but it will come in handy, as we'll see in a later video. But if the onager uses its bales of hay, well, suddenly all that fuel is gone. The archers can't use that spot anymore.
Archers! Let him have it, men!
In that big burn patch earlier where the highly flammable terrain is, archers can't light fires there again either. Only the onager can do that. Special hero abilities or other abilities like Barodapon's Give Nothing Back also do not reuse that fuel. Such ignite abilities can be used for great splash damage to surrounding enemies in spite of the terrain, but their description assumes you must be on certain terrain to actually ignite it on fire. Unlike the onager flaming shot, Barodapon's ability and others like this will not burn on fire-resistant terrain. But he does light up flammable terrain quite nicely. It should also be noted that other abilities seem like they would burn terrain, but do not work that way at all, even on highly flammable terrain. AOTR's Witch King ability is one. Here you can see I've placed him in our highly flammable spot, and he does nothing. So, something to be aware of when you go for traps with fire. In the next video, I'll show you the overhaul the critically acclaimed Age of the Ring mod made to the fire mechanic of the vanilla game Rise of the Witch King. I'll show you how little of an impact fire really makes in the vanilla game, and how the mod really brings back the fear of fire.